Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be giving you an update on the pattern which is going to be taking place over the next couple of weeks. We're going to have some rainier conditions in parts of the southwest with warmer weather that's going to be overtaking much of the country except for the east coast and parts of the southern United States, where we will be in a bit of a chillier pattern, although either way it's still going to be fairly mild in those areas. Taking a look at what the current National Weather Service page looks like, you can see how we have some air quality alerts in effect for parts of the Northwest, as well as scattered throughout the eastern half of the United States. We also have some flood watches in parts of the Southwest for parts of Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and much of Arizona. We have some red flag warnings for fire danger in parts of Idaho, California, and a little bit of Montana, as well as some excessive heat warnings for parts of Montana and Wyoming. Other than that, we don't have many other watches or warnings currently in place. Yesterday, we had a high temperature of 115 degrees in Death Valley, California, with a low temperature of 35 degrees in McCamb, Oregon. The highest rainfall report was in Monterey, Louisiana, where they got 3.4 inches of rain, and there were no snowfall reports as of yesterday. So taking a look at the European model, instead of going day by day, we're going to take a 5-day average and we're going to look at three different time frames over the next 15 days. So we're going to look at from now through the next 5 days, then we're going to look at the next 5 to 10 days, and then the next 10 to 15 days, and look at the averaged out temperature anomalies for the next 5 to 10 days. So this will go through Monday into Tuesday of next week. You can see that we have some of these areas in parts of the south and also in through parts of the east coast dealing with some below average or colder than normal temperatures. Again, this is going to be averaged out over 5 days, so even though you only see maybe 2 or 3 or 4 degrees above normal, for some of those days you might be, let's say, 10 or 15 degrees above normal, and then for other days you might be very close to average or even a little bit below average, and then we would just take the mean amount or the average amount, and that would be your temperature anomaly for that week. So this is again taking a 5-day average and just plotting it out on this map. You can see how we're generally dealing with an area of high pressure and warmer air in through the northern plains and into the west, and then of course where we have some of that rainfall in the southwest, it will be a little bit cooler, and that is a side effect of that rain. With the rain kind of blocking out the sun a little bit, it should help to cool down those areas just a little bit, although it still will be fairly warm in those areas. Looking at the next 5 to 10 days, so this is going from Tuesday through Sunday of this upcoming week, you can see that we have much of that warmer air starting to spread out a little bit more. So you can see we still have some colder conditions lingering in for the southwest. We still have a little bit of cold air in the northeast, and maybe some near normal temperatures along the Gulf Coast. But for the majority and the rest of the country, we're dealing with warmer temperatures, especially in this area over the northern plains, where we could be 5, 6, or even 7 degrees Celsius above normal for the entire week as an average. That would be closer to even 15 degrees Fahrenheit above normal or higher. So we are dealing with fairly warm temperatures in these areas, and again, that's due to an area of ridge, of a big area of ridging in parts of the northern plains, a big area of high pressure in this area, and that's kind of just stabilizing the pattern, creating some drier weather in these spots, and also creating some of the warmer conditions that we are dealing with in those areas. Then looking at the next 10 to 15 days, you can see a lot of things do change, especially up in Canada, not so much in the United States. But if you look up in Canada, from this would be Sunday through about Thursday or Friday of the upcoming week, the week after. And you can see that we have some colder conditions over the entire eastern half of Canada and parts of the northeast and Great Lakes in the United States. And then we have a little area of near normal in parts of the southwest and along the Gulf Coast. The rest of these areas are expected to be above normal. So you can see that in parts of western Canada, areas of the west coast, and also up into the central and northern plains, and even as far east as parts of the southeast. So we have a fairly wide area of these above normal temperatures. The main shift again is going to happen up in Canada, where we're going to see this colder air kind of divide the nation. The eastern half will be a little bit chillier, the western half will be a little bit warmer than what is normal over the next 10 to 15 days. So taking a look at the Climate Prediction Center and what they're looking at in terms of the temperature outlook. This would be the 6 to 10 day outlook. So this is going from the 27th through the 31st. And you can see that they are expecting some above normal temperatures all throughout this entire area of the country. We're dealing with the only areas being near normal in parts of the northeast and also into parts of the southwest. These are the only two areas that are not going to be above normal. And the most above normal, the warmest area, is going to be in through the central and northern plains and extending as far east as the Carolinas. So a fairly wide area where we are expecting fairly warm temperatures in these areas. Looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook from the 29th through August 4th, you can see that we're expecting a return of some of those cooler temperatures into the northeast, and with the exception of some parts of the Four Corners, the rest of the country is expected to be above normal, especially in the central plains, but we have a wide area of at least moderately above normal from the northwest all the way down to the southeast, in kind of a belt shape, or kind of just a swath of those really warm temperatures. So we're going to be seeing a shift over the past few days. The southeast has been definitely cooler than normal. It hasn't been as warm. It still has been fairly warm, but definitely not as warm. And that's going to be changing. We're going to be dealing with a little bit of a warmer pattern moving into those areas over the next couple of days and weeks. Taking a look at the 3 to 4 week outlook, this goes from July 31st through August 13th, and you can see that we have below normal temperatures expected in parts of the southeastern quarter of the country. So for a fairly wide area in the east, we're expecting below normal or colder than normal temperatures to start off the month of August. And then looking at for the west and also the northern plains, we have some warmer temperatures expected, and that's also there for parts of New England, where it's expected to actually be a little bit warmer than normal. So you can see it is going to shift around a little bit. The southeast will go back to being a little bit cooler, and even parts of the northeast and parts of the southwest will go back to being warmer as well. So we're going to be seeing a bit of a pattern switch, where now the southeast going from cold to warm and then back to cold again, and the northeast going from cold to warm and then back to colder after that once again. So this pattern is going to be all over the place. It will be a little bit more stable in parts of the west and also the northern plains, where we're not expecting too much of a deviation over the next couple of weeks and months. Taking a look at the next 7 days in terms of the estimated rainfall, you can see that we have the highest numbers and the highest amount of rainfall expected not in areas of, let's say, the southwest, the southeast, or the southern plains, but it's actually going to be down in the Four Corners in the southwest, where we have maybe up to 2 to even 3 inches of rainfall in parts of Arizona and New Mexico. So that's definitely going to help out with the drought relief. Even some decent amounts stretching up into parts of Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Nevada, California. Even these areas further north, which still need some of that rain for drought relief, are going to get it. They're going to get maybe closer to a 3/10 of an inch to even closer to half an inch, or even maybe 3/4 of an inch of rainfall in a few of these spots. And higher elevations, they could definitely run up near an inch of rainfall expected. So we're definitely expecting some rainfall in these areas. It will be kind of scattered out over the next few days, so you're not going to get any real torrential downpours where you're going to get maybe a full inch of rainfall within just an hour or so. It's going to be kind of spread out over the next 7 days. You're not going to see this come down all at once, which is definitely a good thing, because it is very easy to flood these areas with how dry and hard the actual ground is. So getting it more gradually is going to help that actually get absorbed into the ground. And you can see that the east not looking as active as it normally is. It still will be fairly active as you get further to the north into the Great Lakes and also parts of Ontario, Quebec, and parts of northern New England. But you get further to the south, there's kind of a big gap where you're not expecting too much in the way of rainfall from, let's say, the southeast all the way up into the Ohio Valley. So a fairly big gap where we're expecting maybe 3/10 of an inch to as much as maybe 3/4 of an inch of rainfall. So not a lot of rainfall over the next 7 days in these areas, and then it goes back up in parts of Florida, where we could expect maybe up to 2 inches of rainfall in some of those areas. Taking a look at the average rainfall and comparing all that rainfall to the average, you can see that we're above normal in parts of the southwest, and then looking at parts of the east and the central plains, we're going to be a little bit below normal, although it will still be fairly close to average. We'll maybe be half an inch below normal for the entire week, so nothing too major or nothing too substantial. The good news, though, is that we're going to be, again, above normal in parts of the southwest. I think that's probably a lot more important than being a little bit below normal in parts of the east, considering that you're still getting a fairly good amount of rain, maybe half an inch to even an inch in some of those spots. So nothing really too concerning in terms of the dry conditions or the wet conditions. We're not dealing with anything too substantial in terms of precipitation. And looking at the Climate Prediction Center's forecast over the next 6 to 10 days from the 27th through to the 31st, you can see that the area of heaviest rainfall is actually expected to move north, which is actually very good news because Arizona and New Mexico, they've gotten a good amount of rainfall. It's been areas up in Utah, Nevada, Wyoming, Idaho that have really been missing out on most of that rainfall. They've been getting clipped here and there, but nothing really too substantial. So now that area of heaviest rainfall will be moving a little bit further to the north. It's expected from the 27th through the 31st, according to the Climate Prediction Center. Everywhere east of the Rockies is expected to be fairly below normal. Nothing, again, too major. You will still be fairly near the average, but you'll be a little bit below the normal amount of rainfall for the next 6 to 10 days. And then looking at the hazards map, you can see that we are expecting a few hazards, quite a few hazards starting in the southwest. We are expecting heavy rain from the 24th through the 27th. We're expecting above normal temperatures from the 24th through the 26th in parts of the northwest. In parts of the northern plains, we're expecting above normal temperatures from the 25th through the 28th in these areas. Excessive heat for parts of the Mississippi River Valley from the 26th through the 28th. And then we have a few more areas of scattered excessive heat over the next 3 to 7 days. And then looking at the 8 to 14 day hazards outlook, you can see that we just have one main area where we have excessive heat possible from the 29th through the 31st, and that's going to be in the northern plains. Flooding possible in this kind of gray area over the next 8 to 14 days in western Colorado and some of the surrounding areas. So we definitely could be seeing some flooding issues, although it's going to be in a fairly smaller area compared to what it could be, because we will be dealing with kind of a lot of rainfall within that shorter amount of time in these areas when that area of heaviest rainfall moves from Arizona further north into Nevada, Utah, Colorado. Because of that, and because of how dry the ground is, you can definitely flood very easy in these areas. So we're going to hope that it comes down a little bit more gradually so that it doesn't flood in those areas. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.